But my guests today are from the Out of the Wings Festival, which is happening at Omnibus Theatre from the 13th to the 17th of this month. William Gregory and Catherine Boyle. So tell me, what is on offer this year?
Okay, Catherine, do you want to take it away?
Yeah. Well, thank you very much first for playing the songs related to wings, because we love it. We love the corniness of it. So yes, the festival is taking place from the 13th of July to the 17th. We have 6 plays. The opening night on Tuesday the 13th is a double bill. William will tell you a bit more about the plays in a second. And so there's 6 plays from 6 different countries, Spanish-speaking and Portuguese-speaking, by 6 different authors, obviously, and then by 6 different translators. And one of the things that Out of the Wings wants to do is to bring great plays that we think will have a space in this country through translation, and to deal with, as William said before, many themes that are really relevant today. So we're going to go through the plays just now, one by one, a bit together.
Okay, so on the 13th, we start with a double bill from Argentina and Mexico. So the first play is a play called Complete Sex by Monica Mafia, translated by Sophie Stevens. That's a short play. It's actually only about 15 minutes long, and it's a play thinking about the decisions you have to make when you have to tick a box.
Somebody going past the window there.
Outside. When you have to tick that box saying what sex or gender you are, and all the many different questions that you might find yourself asking when you're ticking that box. So a little bit of a sort of philosophical contemplation of gender identity to start us off. And then Cosmica, by way of contrast, or maybe there are some links, is set in a high school in Mexico, and it's exploring teenage angst, teenage love, social media, peer pressure, and it's called Cosmica because it's also about the universe. And the playwright Gabriela Romain Fuentes talks about how she thinks that teenage love is like universes colliding and stars exploding and new worlds being born, and that's translated by Georgina Escobar. And to the 14th, Catherine, do you want to chat about the 14th?
Hang on till I find it again.
Oh, come on, Catherine.
I know. The 14th is You Shall Love, a play by the Chilean dramatist Pablo Mansi, translated by Camila Imay Gonzalez. This is a really interesting play that takes place, that's basically what the role of doctors is. So it takes place in an enclosed space, and in it you have questions of humanitarianism, you have questions of how the past impacts on the present, you have the questions of the relationship between doctors, you have questions of ethics and medicine. So it's a really complex and quite funny, in a black sort of way, play. Yeah.
And I don't think it's too much of a spoiler to say that it is also science fiction, but that's all I'm going to say, because otherwise Camilla will tell me off. She's also directing it, and I don't think she'll want me to give away too much, but it's really, really fascinating. On the 15th, so we're on to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday now, a play called Shopping Centre Paradise by the Spanish playwright Laura Rubio Galletero, and it's translated by Rachel Toogood. This is a sort of modern-day Adam and Eve walking through a giant shopping centre. It's imagining that the Garden of Eden has been turned into a shopping centre and thinking about what it means to try and have a relationship in this modern consumerist world where you're trying to sort of have real feelings, you're trying to create a partnership with another human being, but you're being bombarded with ideas about what you should be buying and what you should be wanting and what you should be desiring. And that's a fantastic play. Again, sort of quite comic, kind of strange and surreal. There's a strange surreal character that the Adam and Eve person sort of keeps appearing, almost like Mr. Ben. Do you remember Mr. Ben? I've just heard him. I don't know what Laura would think of my comparing this, but sort of you're going through this retail environment, and this character keeps popping up and confusing you. I really love that play.
Yeah.
Then the next day, the 16th, we're on to Brazil. This is a play called Shelter by Alexandra Del Farra, translated by Rodrigo Haddad. And this is, again, another very mysterious play about a group of friends and family. And for reasons they don't understand, people keep disappearing. And by disappearing, they just sort of fade away. I think it starts at a birthday party, and then people just sort of start disappearing, and no one really knows what the reason for these disappearances is. And they go through the whole play just trying to work out what's going on. And it's a very surreal and mysterious play, and we've talked about how the world has changed so much, and I can't help making strange connections in my mind between this play and the pandemic for some reason, and the sort of what it's like, I think, when your normal life is just suddenly completely invaded by a very, very strange and totally unexpected situation, changing your way of life, and just sort of as a family and a community, just sort of trying to get your head around how on earth do we try to live in this new world. A really great mysterious play from Brazil.
And then on Saturday the 17th, we have a play called The Therapist, which is by a Peruvian writer called Gabriela Yepes, and is translated by Gigi Guisado. And just to tell you very quickly that Gigi has flown in from Las Vegas to be here. She'll be in one of the plays, actually, and also has translated it. And she's one of the people who joined us a few years ago, first by Skype, then by Zoom, so as part of our international community. The Therapist is quite a challenging play, isn't it? It's about a human rights lawyer who works with ex-terrorists, the Shining Path terrorism in Peru, who put Peru through one of the most difficult periods in Peruvian history. And what they've tried to do is see if they can connect with these terrorists in prison through yoga. And the biggest question is, can you really face up to your past, actually, a very complex past, and find some sort of reconciliation in it? So it's probably one of our most challenging plays, but it asks those such huge questions about reconciliation and about understanding the past and about understanding violences that might be endemic to a society.
Yeah, how does a nation face the difficulties of its past history? And I think, well, in the UK we can certainly relate to that question, with everything that's been going on for, well, not just the past year, but for much longer before
Absolutely.
that. I just like, in case you're listening from your quarantine hotel, Gigi, hi, hope you're okay, and we're looking forward to seeing you soon.
It's true.
Well, it sounds like a rich and diverse programme, and how can we come and see it?
Oh, well, yes. I think, well, perhaps the quickest and easiest way is to go to www.OTTWfestival.com. That's our website, and from there you can link through to all of the information about the festival, and crucially link through to the Omnibus Theatre, where you can book a ticket. The Omnibus, I want to give a real shout out to the Omnibus.
Absolutely.
They've been wonderful. We love working with them. They're so kind and supportive, and they've been doing all they can to be able to help us be able to be back with them. They're also doing all they can to make sure that this festival takes place in as safe an environment as possible. Because of that, actually, there are some limitations. For example, normally at the festival, we really like it if people turn up at 7:30 in the afternoon and want to buy a ticket. You can't do that, I'm afraid. You do have to book in advance now, just because of social distance seating and so forth. So we really would encourage people, if you're interested, to take a look at the website and book a ticket in advance. I think that's the easiest way. Yeah, OTWfestival.com.
Oh, sorry, I'll tweet that link. I'll tweet that link.
Thank you.
Well, it's wonderful to have you back, and thanks ever so much for coming in and telling us all about it. William Gregory and Catherine Boyle.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.